Picture this. You're watching the evening news, and the headline blasts across the screen, "Terror attack shakes city." The footage is dramatic, the images unforgettable. For days, maybe even weeks, it repeats in your mind. Suddenly, the world feels more dangerous, more unpredictable. But here's the twist: while everyone is talking about terrorism, far more people are quietly injured each year by falling TVs or even coconuts. Welcome to the availability heuristic. The mental trap that convinces us that whatever comes easily to mind must be common, important, and dangerous, even when the real data says otherwise. This bias works because the brain loves shortcuts. When it faces a complex question, like, how likely is this event? It silently replaces it with a much simpler one: how easily can I think of examples? If the answer is, very easily, your brain immediately inflates the importance of that event. And here's the fascinating part. This happens automatically, with no effort, deep inside System 1, the fast, emotional, instinctive part of your mind. So dramatic car crashes feel more common than quiet heart disease. Rare airplane accidents feel scarier than everyday driving. Politicians seem more corrupt than doctors or engineers, not because it's true, but because scandals make headlines, and headlines burn themselves into memory. This bias doesn't stop with the news. It shapes how we judge other people, how we view our relationships, even how we remember our own lives. We recall our own efforts in group projects far more easily than everyone else's, so everyone feels like they did more work than the rest. We assume certain personality traits always go together because a vivid example once stuck in our mind. Strong emotions, vivid stories, and shocking images don't just stay in memory, they bend it. And when these memories pile up, something even more powerful can happen: an availability cascade. One small event gets media attention, the public reacts emotionally, the coverage increases, and suddenly the issue explodes into national panic, all because it was vivid, not because it was truly likely. That's the secret of vividness: if it lights up your emotions, your brain treats it like reality. Probability becomes irrelevant. Possibility becomes everything. Heuristics are simple procedures or rules of thumb that reduce complex tasks of assessing probabilities and predicting values to simpler judgmental operations. They are effortless, automatic, fast, and opaque. We do not know that we are using them. They are often necessary because humans lack the mental power to absorb all information and tend to be confused by details. A cognitive error, or bias, is a systematic deviation from logic or from optimal, rational, reasonable thought and behavior. These are routine mistakes and barriers to logic that humans stumble over time and again. A bias is an unconscious and irrational brain process that literally distorts the way we see the world. Heuristic bias often arises because the intuitive mind, System 1, substitutes an easier question for the more difficult target question that was actually asked. For example, when asked a difficult question, target, "Should I invest in this stock?" the system answers an easier, related question instead, heuristic, "Do I like this company's products?" While heuristics are often quite useful, especially in familiar or primitive contexts, this reliance on accessibility over complexity leads to systematic errors. The more rational, effortful thinking, System 2, has the opportunity to reject the intuitive, heuristic answer, but often follows the path of least effort and endorses the quick, initial conclusion with minimal scrutiny, allowing the bias to persist. So what do? You slow down. You ask the real question, not the easy substitute. You look for the numbers, not the stories. And you remember that the mind doesn't show you the world as it is, it shows you the world as it remembers it. The availability heuristic reminds us of something simple but profound. The loudest events aren't always the most important. The most vivid dangers aren't always the most real. And the stories that stick in your mind will quietly shape your decisions, unless you learn to see the strings behind the scenes.